Hey friends, so today we are going to be making a homemade, completely from scratch pie with 100% homegrown herbs and veggies. So I just think that's going to be really fun and exciting. So it's just going to be a chicken and vegetable pie. I've got 250-gram block of butter here that I am chopping up into small pieces. And then we're going to put this in the food processor with the flour and make our pie crust. I want this butter to be really cold, so I'm going to try not touch it too much with my hands. That's why, well, one of the reasons why we're going to be using the food processor. You do have this tool that you can roll to kind of cut the butter in the flour. I don't have one of those, but if you did have that, you can definitely use that. Or you can also use a fork, but food processor is just going to be a little bit easier to do. And also on the side, I do have some ice cold water. So this is a MasterChef food processor that my mum gifted me because she just didn't use. So it comes with this little base to sit the bowl on. We've been using this for smoothies every morning pretty much since we've got it. I'll just put the blade in. And because this is a small dish, I am going to be halving the batch of crust. I also got a silver bowl next to me. In total, we want 2.5 cups of flour. So I've got a cup there, and I'll add a quarter. Just regular plain all-purpose flour. And then I'm just going to kind of eyeball half of this butter. And then in the end, we're going to mix it all together in our bowl anyway, so that's okay. And yep, we're just going to keep pulsing until you can kind of see it come together. So you can see that in there, the butter has come together with the flour. Wow, that's really good. Okay, I'm just like touching it. I like to touch things, although I know I shouldn't because we want this butter to try and stay as cold as possible. So we need another 1.25 cups of flour. So again, if you do have a larger processor and you're just doing it all together, it is a total of 2.5 cups of plain flour. So that's better. It has bigger chunks, so that's good. Man, that was so easy using a food processor. This is honestly my first time ever using a processor making pie pastry. I have made pie pastry a few times, but you can see the bigger chunks of butter in there. So that's great. But yeah, I have used I haven't used a food processor before making pie pastry. I've done it by hand. And this honestly took not even 30 seconds, whereas by hand I'm here for like 30 minutes and in pain. Wow, that's good. So now I'm going to be mixing with my fork, and here I got the icy cold water. I'm just going to start off, I don't know, maybe 4 tablespoons of water, and we just want this to come together as a dough. So you really don't need much water. Oh, actually salt. Quickly before it comes a dough, I'll add a pinch of salt. And how much water you do need to end up adding all depends on the exact measurements of the flour, because obviously measuring by cups isn't that precise, as well as just your overall temperature of the butter, of the dough, of the humidity in your room. So you'll just do a little bit, mix it, and if you need some more, just add some more. So I'm going to add in a couple more tablespoons. We'll do 3 more tablespoons. And now as you can see, so these are getting nice and bigger chunks. I'm just going to dump this out on the bench. And we want to form this and squeeze this into a dough, but as soon as we've formed it, we would want to stop working with it because we definitely don't want to overwork with it. because then the more you work with it, the more higher gluten content there is going to be, and then that's going to cause cracking. And I'm just going to try and pick it up and kind of fold it and press rather than your traditional kneading, and this way it's going to give us those layers and also making this into our dough. And you can see it's stucking down here a little bit, so probably should have dusted it with flour, but should be right. But now this is pretty much formed. Like I said, I don't want to keep going. So that will be enough. I'm just going to put this back in the bowl. I'll scrape up these bits and chuck that on top. That'll be fine. We're going to wrap this with plastic, cling wrap, and then chuck it in the fridge, and we'll come back to it in, again, at least 2 hours. Alright, so I got my bowl. It is bright out here. We're going to do the first major harvest of the season. So excited. So this is how this pot is looking, which I'm absolutely loving how it's just hanging off the side of this pot. Like, how beautiful is this? So this is silverbeet. I planted a few rainbow silverbeet leaves. This was the only one that sprouted, and it's not rainbow, it's just irregular. Underneath these leaves we have some coriander, we have baby spinach. So we're going to get this silverbeet, baby spinach, I don't know, coriander. I do like the flavour, I just don't think it's going to go well with the pie. But we might harvest it anyway, just so we have it to go with salad or something for tomorrow for lunch. So with the silverbeet, and same as the spinach, I'm just going to start with the outside leaves. And this is the very first harvest of the silverbeet as well. This is crazy. I love it. And we still got a couple of these leaves which look quite big, especially compared to the spinach, but these are small for the silverbeet, so we're going to keep them growing. And all this inner stuff is all new growth, so that will eventually grow, and it'll grow out like it was. So it kind of looks so empty now, but it's okay. I'm going to give some of this coriander as well. And this coriander here is all very new, so I'm probably going to just leave this to let it grow. Oh, you know what? Let's just pick a couple of little pieces, just to try and encourage more growth. That's crazy. So the next thing we're going to grab are some of these leeks, because I grabbed the biggest one we had currently and Nick used it for his roast and it was great. So they are usable, but I do need to give these guys some more room to grow. So I'm gonna get the biggest ones, which are still small for leeks, but we'll grab a few, just a few. My goodness. Okay. Oh no, I snapped it. That's okay. That's okay. So, homegrown leeks by seed, sown in the complete wrong season. You should smell it. Incredible. So this is lemon thyme. Honestly, not looking the best, but for what we have, I just kind of want to harvest some because I think it'll be really nice. We do have some homegrown thyme from my parents' house that I preserved, but I've dried. But I want to try and use the fresh produce from my garden. And there we go. It's not much, but it's definitely plenty. So this is the harvest that we managed to get. So leeks, this is the biggest one. As you can see, I don't know if this was just seeds I've sown too close or if that's actually coming from this one leek. So I did sow these seeds in complete wrong season. I don't know, at the start of winter, which really now or end of winter is a good time to sow your leek seeds, but that's okay. These still grew over throughout the winter and survived. So they're small, but my goodness, the fragrance is incredible. So we got one here. This one unfortunately snapped, which this didn't even feel like it was going to snap. This one was the first one. This was a tough one, but this one snapped, but that's still fine. And then we got a few more smaller ones. So this is just now going to give the other leeks that's in the pots more room to grow. And this one as well has kind of got the same thing, some side shoots happening. So there's our leeks we're gonna have for our pie. The lemon thyme, my goodness, the amount of lemon scent from this is incredible. So this is the first harvest from that. Like I said, the plant's not doing the best. If you have any tips on what I can do to help the plant, please let me know, because this is just incredible how it smells. Thyme is probably one of my favorite herbs. My other favorite herb will be coriander. Like I said, we're not going to be using this for the salad. For the pie. But I just wanted to keep picking it just to get the plant to keep sprouting and growing some more. So I will wash that up, but that will be for the salad. I don't know where I'm moving it, but we have a handful of baby spinach. Again, realistically, we have so much silverbeet here. I could possibly use this again for salad, but we also got plenty of lettuce in the fridge. I don't really need it, so it's honestly, it's not that much, but yeah, I'm just gonna chuck it in with this pie. And then of course the silverbeet. So absolutely incredible. I'm gonna use the leaves and the stems. This is still quite young. Silverbeet can grow much bigger than this, but because it is in a pot with other things, I think this is probably going to be the biggest. I will let my silverbeet grow. And because of it's not the full maturity, these stems are quite young still and quite soft. So these stems of silverbeet, a lot of people don't like to eat them because they get quite tough, but they are full of nutrition and good for you, and the whole plant is completely edible. So that's one good thing of getting them young, and although they're young, they are still massive. Like I said, compared to the baby spinach leaf to the silver beet.
Oh, matron.
And last year, the only leafy thing I was growing was spinach. So this is what I've been used to pulling out the garden. And now getting things like this, and this happening so quick as well. Incredible. No, you cannot play with the leek. Oh shit. No! So with cooking this pie, everything was done on a medium heat. I had a few tablespoons of oil and a couple of, I'd say 2-3 tablespoons of butter. I'm adding all of my homegrown veggies and herbs except for the baby spinach. I did add that after. This is the silver beet, the leeks, the thyme. I don't even remember what else. I feel like there was something else. Anyway, I added a couple of tablespoons of flour to try and make a roux. You can make a roux when you have other stuff in there. That's perfectly fine. It's just a little bit tricky to mix around other ingredients. And this frozen block is homemade chicken bone broth. I then added, that was 1 cup of broth. I then added in about 1/4 cup of cream. The baby spinach. This is pre-cooked shredded chicken that I had in my freezer as well, which I defrosted. And then the only seasonings I added was salt, pepper, and garlic powder. And I just kept that on medium heat until it came to simmer and thickened up slightly. And then I just let it cool. Alright, so I got my oven preheating at 190 degrees. It's cooked filling. We don't need to brine bake this crust. But we do want to split this into 2, one for the bottom and one for the top of the pie. So we'll just split it in 2. I should have probably halved it in 2 and put them in the fridge individually, but that's okay. So I'm just going to roughly do it. And I do have some flour here if I need, but we'll just see how we go. And it's going to be hard, but it's good because it means it's really, really cold, which is what we want. Alrighty, so I ended up flouring both the surface and the top, rotating. That's all good. I'm not needing to do anything to my dish here, but what I'm going to do, oh, actually that's a lot of flour underneath. You know what, that's okay, because that's going to go on the bottom of the pie anyway. Just using my rolling pin to help lift up. So that excess flour is going to help to prevent this pie from sticking. And we just want to gently push it in. Oh wow, you can actually see the layers. You can see the layers in there. Oh, this is going to be so good. So my pie filling, I just put the lid on and it's just kind of cooled down. You can see how nice and thick it is as well. Oh, it smells so good. I think, although I didn't really measure anything, I just kind of wung it from what I just had. It's like the perfect amount for this pie. So that's fun. Quickly want to beat an egg. Just notice this spot here. So what I'm going to do is this excess piece, I'm just going to try and stick it. That should be right. But we just want to beat an egg quickly. I'm just using my fork and we can just go right around the top here. And I tried really hard not to flour the top of this pie crust or have any excess, so we'll just flip this over. That's ended up being fine. So we want the least amount of flour as possible in the inside. So roll that over. And there we go. So we'll just pat it on the top. I'm now going to take a sharp knife just to kind of cut around, but I do want to flute it, so we will leave a little bit of a border.
Musical pie.
Okay?
Musical pie.
Musical?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, flute. And what we're going to do is 2 fingers on one hand, 1 on the other, and we want to pinch it like this around, and that's going to give us the flute edge that we want. I might just kind of pinch it with my fingers first. Alright, so now we'll go in with our fluting.
What are they called, fluting?
I don't know. Alright, so it's not the prettiest, but it will do. But we'll do a couple of bent holes.
Should not smile as bad.
And now it's going to go into the oven at 190 degrees fan force. I'm going to check in, I don't know, 30 minutes. Again, it's pre-cooked filling. We just want it golden and brown and puffy and looking. Oh wait, egg wash.
Get the brush.
That's just another dish. I don't have time for the brush.
Oh, that's fucking raw.
I'm not going to worry about egg washing.
You wash your hands?
Yes, my hands are clean.
No.
I'm not going to worry about brushing right on top as this sits higher, so it's going to probably get brown more. But just more so the surface of the pie. And now it's going to go into the oven. 190 degrees fan force for, I don't know, we'll check in about 30 minutes. Don't know what I was going to say, but the pie wasn't for 30 minutes. I ended up turning the temperature up to 210 just to get more of a colour on it for an extra 15 minutes, and we're going to take it out. Oh yeah, and just a heads up, it's an ugly pie. I make ugly pies, but I'm sure it's going to be delicious. But I definitely ain't no pie artist.
That's not a bad looking pie.
That's ugly.
I mean, the sides aren't the prettiest in the world, but...
But a lot ain't the prettiest. So there's our pie. Like I said,
Oh, matron.
it's not the prettiest. And you can see through the glass as well. That's the best thing about having a glass pie dish. You can see there's nice golden browning to that. Alright, it is late, so I got these lights. I've just not carved into the pie, sliced into the pie. It's very slightly warm. It's pretty much closer to room temperature, but I pretty much baked it just before we went out, and now it's been a couple of hours. It's just been sitting out for, it's perfectly fine. And yeah, so this way it's not overly sloppy, and it's just like the good eating temperature. But you can see this, whoops, pie pastry is so nice. Yeah, it's just so cool. It smells really good. I like how this chicken, when I shredded it, it's like nice chunks, and it's just crazy. Like homemade bone broth, homemade from scratch pie crust. Obviously everything's homemade from scratch. All the vegetables and herb, homegrown. So let's taste it. Okay, that's just like the filling. Silverbeet tastes healthy. Like, you can taste that that is a healthy vegetable. mean, it's good. At first bite it was strong with the silver beet. I want to try the pie crust. Wow. I mean, it's just plain pie crust, but it's good. And now with the pie crust on the bottom. I feel like some sweet corn in here, just for that different texture and that burst of sweetness, and it'll be perfect. But it's still very tasty, and it's very flavorful for only adding salt, pepper and garlic powder. That's what I'm most proud of, so I'm so happy with that. But thank you so much for watching this video. Please give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed, subscribe down below so you don't miss out on future videos. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!